Rachel Donaire. Rachel, I want to talk to you about a subject that is very impactful right now in boxing, and it's the whole Ryan Vada situation. But before I talk about that, I want to get your experiences with Vada and why you're actually able to talk to us about Vada.
So when Vada wanted to get into, of course, testing for professional boxers, Nonito was one of the very first to, well, actually he was the first to submit himself to 24/7, 365. He did that because of the fact that of his association with Victor Conte at that time. Victor, of course, has a bad rap in the industry, and he had supplements called Snack. And the only way that Nonito could actually protect himself was to get with a testing system to show that no matter what, like, I'm winning these titles naturally. So he got with Victor, and then eventually Victor and Nonito split apart, and Nonito felt like this was still a good movement to get behind, so he continued to still do Vada testing even though he wasn't a snack athlete until the end of his career.
All right. With that said, now, how long has Nonito been doing the Vada testing?
I believe Nonito's been doing Vada testing since 2009.
So that would be about 15 years now. So you have a very thorough knowledge of the way the system works and everything.
Yes.
One of the things that Ryan has said in this whole situation is that you could get testing results rather quickly. Let us know how long it really takes to get the testing results.
From our experience, the Vada testing results have been given to us around, like, there's a little bit, like, of course, of a window. So we've gotten them as early as 9 days, all the way to 14 days. And the reason for that is because of the fact that there's only 2 WADA World Anti-Doping labs in the United States.
Okay.
And one is in LA and the other one is in Salt Lake City. So because of the plethora of athletes, not just boxers, because we're not the only ones that are testing, specifically the Olympic athletes and all the universities, other possible professional sports that are using USADA and using Vada are all, like, kind of funneling in to a WADA lab here in the United States. So because of that, whenever they receive it, and depending on what their backlog is when they're going to process the test.
So how long would you say the average is to get a test result back? So let's say if I tested yesterday, Friday, when would I be receiving a result back?
I believe at the maximum 14 days.
Okay.
Nonito actually posted a Vada result of his that was tested April 20th, I believe, of 2022, and he got it back May 2nd. So it's funny, like, because of the fact that this timeline is very, like, the same.
So in no way, shape, or form could you get a result back in 24 hours?
No. Especially, like, if the fight's in the other side of the country. Like, so specifically if the fight's in New York or anywhere in the East Coast, you're looking at, like, for example, if the fight, the test was administered on Friday after the weigh-ins, because no one's going to test anyone when they're dehydrated, right? So at least give the athlete some possibility to rehydrate and then test. So when they test them, you're looking at, like, 3, 5, 6 p.m. You would need a teleportation device to get it from New York City on a Friday night over to Salt Lake City or the LA lab to test and report the findings before close of business. And that's just not logistically possible. So, no. I mean, at the best case scenario, possibly 72 hours, but nowhere near before the fight, 24 hours, to be able to prove before the fight that you were
another thing that Ryan has been going on is that it's a conspiracy. Victor Conti is a cheat. You know, we all know Victor Conti's history and everything, and he just says that it's a conspiracy against him. It is a little bit too coincidental that Devin and Victor have a relationship, working relationship with Snack and everything. So what do you think about the conspiracy theory that Ryan is going on?
I mean, God, I don't even know where to start at this point. Like, you know, if he's trying to pull and prove that Snack and Vada have a relationship, then Victor would have been able to hide at least the 2 tests that were popped for Snack fighters, one of them being Andre Berto, if he had that type of control. At the same time, hypothetically, let's just put Victor Conte as, you know, the CEO, the president, the founder, everything about Vada. Let's just give him that position in this hypothetical situation.
Okay.
Vada only orders the test, and Floridium is the one that is the DCO, which is the drug control officer.
Okay.
And they're the ones that come over, doping control officer. So they're the ones, and a third party, they're not Vada people, and they come over and they watch you do your whole test. They don't touch your sample, they don't touch your collection bottles, you have to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then they ship it off to, they ship it off by FedEx or whatever, UPS, to a WADA lab, WADA, which is owned by the International Olympic Committee. So if you were to say there's any conspiracy, first of all, you'd have to prove some type of relationship with Victor and Vada, and that they have any control off of the other 2 elements. And basically, at the end of the day, you're going after and against the International Olympic Committee. So I don't get why people don't understand why that Vada is, all they are is a testing agency, and they're not the people, and they could look it up on the website and all these other things. They're the same as USADA, that just put the protocols together and the tests and everything go back to the water labs. So I think that there's a lot of people that assume a lot of things, and all these things are on the internet, that, you know, that Vada themselves tells you that they don't test your sample. So I think it's a far-fetched allegation, and I think that if anyone were to pursue that type of fallacy, I think that they're going to meet a brick wall very quickly.
Another thing that he's brought up is the Ashwagandha route and possible tainted supplements. What do you feel about that?
I mean, there's been I don't know the UFC fighter's name, but he was taking a supplement that he has taken for years and has passed anti-doping things, and there's all of a sudden he tested positive, and he was able to give the bottle of that to the lab, to WADA, to be able to test if there was any contamination of the supplement. But the only way that you can get that bottle into an investigation is if you actually listed that supplement on your testing form to say you're taking it.
Got it.
So you can't just be like, hey, listen, here's my whole medicine cabinet, test all of these. You have to say, hey, I took Tylenol, I took this, I took airborne, what is it called, the airborne packets?
Yeah.
This is what I took. You have to list all that. You can't just be like, hey, I took that thing, and they'll be like, well, you didn't list it. You had the opportunity every single time before we collected your sample to disclose whatever you are taking. If you didn't disclose it, that's kind of on you, not us.
The question I want to know is there a possibility that there could be a tainted supplement?
100%. Listen, manufacturing facilities, different supplements within their facility. So yes, there is a possibility. It's just, will that be available into the discovery and the evidences if he didn't list it as something he took? If he didn't list it as something he took, it will be thrown out because you didn't disclose that you were even taking it to begin with. And when you sign the Vada contract, it tells you that you abide by all the rules and regulations.
And finally, just give your opinion on the entire matter. Just, do you think it happened intentionally, unintentionally, and just the whole thing? Sum it up.
For me, I believe that once you sign that Vada contract, you are 100% liable for anything that happens. You have to have read every single little thing. Even within those things, Vada, Wada, and USADA themselves on their websites and all of their disclaimers tell you do not take any supplements because of the possible contamination, tainted supplements that could happen. And when you do, then at least try to protect yourself. The thing is, any athlete that's saying, any athlete that has tested with Vada, that is saying that they're questioning the results of this, is actually allowing and opening their liability for their results to be retested. I'm saying that, what I'm saying is, if you said, hey, I did Vada and I tested negative, well, WADA doesn't just destroy your samples. So if there's any question, they can retest your stuff, and they can retest it even deeper of an analysis. And if you're saying that Vada is ineffective, then you're saying that your negative test was ineffective, basically, at the end of the day. If you're saying that it's not dependable because Ryan tested positive, then you're saying that your test as a Vada tested athlete also may not be dependable.
Got it. Any final words on it?
I mean, at the end of the day, like, I'm not judge and jury. I'm not going to be given the evidences. The sample A test was taken. The sample B test, I assume will be asked for. And if he tested positive, and they said no, like, these supplements are dead and done, then he's going to have to take that repercussion. But I do want to say that regardless of if he took the PDs, I feel like, in my opinion, that the game plan that Ryan Garcia established against Devin Haney's that night, and the implementation and who had the better game plan as far as the chess match, I believe that I can give a star to Ryan on the game plan that he did that night. And Devin just couldn't adjust that night. And that's okay to say, because I feel like, well, I think it's not even that I feel like, I think that it's public knowledge and scientific knowledge that using any PD is not going to increase your IQ.
Yeah. All right, Rachel, thank you so much for your time. Again, this is just your thoughts and knowledge, given the fact that you dealt with Vada for so long. Again, thank you for your time.